go.
Adam, start with you when you're ready.
Hi Daniel. Daniel, can we start with a situation that is clearly worrying supporters that players are leaving? As of now, have things changed? Are the club in control of who can go now and who can't go? What is the contract situation in your squad now?
Well, we spoke quite open and honest and transparent about the situation, that it would be definitely a bumpy August, because we spoke also quite open about it, that there are exit clauses in the contracts of many players, but our style is also not to speak about details in the contracts of our players, because I think it's not professional to speak too much about it. But what I can confirm, the closer we edge to the end of the transfer window, the more and more we are in control over the situation. And this is also what has happened over the last days. Yes, it's situation has eased up a little bit, and the closer we edge to the end of the transfer window, the more we are back in the driver's seat, and that's definitely good news.
What's the situation with Willie Nonto and Luis Sinisterra? I know there's a discipline issue with Willie. Are they going to be available to you? Is there any way back for either?
Well, these are many questions, and would take too long to speak about the individual topics and at length. I think with Willie we've spoken about each and everything. So what I can say, and I think it's also important to say this in an open and honest way, that at the moment Helder Costa, Willie Gnonto and Luis Sinisterra are training separated from the group. They have individual training in order to stay fit and to be prepared. They also moved out of the dressing room out of different reasons. We spoke in length about the situation with Willie. With Helder Costa, everything's quite relaxed, because even from the start of pre-season we had a pretty honest conversation. It is his wish that he wants to have a move. It's also our wish as a club that there will be a solution in the end, and no concerns and complaints. It's really professional anyhow, and I'm quite sure there will be a solution in the end. And with Luis Sinisterra, it's also a different situation in comparison to Willie Gnonto, because with Willie we spoke about this. Everything was quite clear. There is no exit clause. We've made it quite clear that we won't sell him, and then there was this issue, and everything is set to this. With Luis, it's different. He had some exit clauses in his contract, and it was more like some open contractual question marks and open legal question marks how this is set up exactly, and for that he was not available for the last game. And we also decided till really everything is really also from the legal point of view clear and obvious, that he won't train with the group, because then his mind can't concentrate. He can't concentrate really and focus fully on football. And also we didn't want the group to be distracted by these topics anyhow till the situation is sorted. We have decided to move him also out of our group, but we're working unbelievably hard behind the scenes. And in the last days there were also some movements. We wait for the final judgment from the legal point of view, but it seems like pretty quick everything will be sorted. And then we have also a different situation at the moment. So till today anyhow, all the three players were training separately and separate from the group, and we will see what the outcome is over the next days.
So how is the spirit in the rest of the group, Daniel, and who have you available that you might not have done last week?
Yes, the spirit is good. I praised my lads already, and otherwise it's not possible in the first two competitive games to come back once you're 2-0 down at halftime and 1-0 down. So we showed great spirit also in terms of workload a lot, and spirit is good. Obviously, the group is a bit too small in numbers at the moment. We're working a lot behind the scenes, that hopefully some injured players will come back soon. Hopefully also the contractual issues are quite now sorted pretty quick, and also we are working on some incomings. So we're training still with a relatively small group. Some bad news with Leo Hjelde, because he had a concussion in training yesterday after duel, and because we have to follow the concussion protocols of the league, he will be out till next Monday, so he's not available for this game. But on the other hand, also some good news. Sam Greenwood is back in training, was able to train the whole week. Also for Jorginho Ritter and Joe Roden, also a proper training week so far. So they are also in the mix to be elected then for the team. So also some good news, but yeah, it's still a bit tricky week, but I hope and think, and I'm also quite convinced that next week our situation will look much better. So it's a bit tricky for the game on Friday, but we'll have a competitive side and we'll also fight for the points on Friday.
Okay, just actually finally about Sonny Perkins. We were told after the press conference that he was ill. Is he going to be available to you?
Yes, he's available if I pick him. I spoke also in length about the situation. Each and every player has the chance to shine in training and to improve and also to show that he's ready to play. And anyhow, I will just pick players who are really fully who convince me during training and show really good performances. If a player is not there on the level that we need for the championship, I won't pick him. So it's not like just because there are some free spots on the squad, I pick a player. You have to make sure that you also have a chance to be involved in the game. And if not, I think it would be the wrong sign to choose a player who is not there with top class training performances. At least that's my style. I just pick players. I rather go with less players, but the players who are there are spirited and committed and tied together, and that's quite important. So regardless of about who we speak, anyhow, I want good performances in training, and then you have a chance to be picked.
Thank you. Graham?
Thank you, Daniel. You've referenced the financial situation a couple of times this summer when you talked about the possibility of signing players. What is the financial situation as you understand it? Do you have money available to sign players?
No, I'm just here for the sport and just speak about the sport. So it's not my topic to speak too much in public about financial situation. But obviously there are some rules you have to stick to it, and also. Yes, when it's not 100% clear about the outgoings, who goes out on loan, or some other exit clauses, still there's not more clarity. It's also difficult for a club to make some decisions. That's what I mean. We are all on the same page. We know that we have to improve the squad, that we need to bring some quality in. We're working unbelievably hard behind the scenes, but at the first step, a few things had to be decided also with some exits, and the closer we edge right now also to the winner, the more clarity we have, and the more clarity we have also what we can do in terms of what we can spend in terms for incomings. But I won't speak about the details. It's not my topic. I'm concentrate on football and not so much on our balance anyhow. So obviously we are working unbelievably hard behind the scenes. We have good people, good key people behind the scenes, and hopefully then hopefully September arrives pretty quick. Hopefully our squad will look much more competitive and also stronger in comparison to what perhaps a situation last week or in the beginning of this week was. So we are quite confident that we'll have a competitive group may come the end of August.
What does your attempt to sign Max Aarons say about the situation at right back? Cody's obviously got a year, he's into his final year. Is he in your plans along with Luke this season? Yes,
I've spoken about this topic. I never comment any rumors or when they are perhaps try to sign a player. And I just speak about players who are under contract. For that, I don't comment any other rumors or any other comments. Anyhow, I just speak about the players who are under contract for us. And I mentioned before, so Cody, of course, he's in my plans. Said he was injured during pre-season for 2 weeks. Was also a bit difficult for him because he was obviously also out on loan. And then, as a player who wants to impress, anyhow, you want to use pre-season. And if you're injured, it's never that easy. He had a first proper training week this week, and was also important for him. But yeah, at the moment we need each and every player. So I can't predict what the situation will be in the end of August and how our squad will look then, and if there is a possibility perhaps for other outgoings or whatever. But at the moment I'm happy about each and every player that we have, and each and every player gets my full attention and my full backing and also my full work in order to improve and make the best possible player he can be. And Cody in the beginning, he had much game time anyhow in the preseason. Yeah, sadly there was this injury. Yeah, he has to be a bit patient right now. That's a fact till he's back at his best. But he has all chances also to impress during training, and when there is a chance, he just has to grab it.
Hey Daniel, you've made no secret of the fact you'd like to strengthen the squad in all areas apart from goalkeeper. Do you feel 16 days is enough time to strengthen all those areas?
Yes, 100%. It's definitely a small period of time. It's not easy. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, because we also have to you have to work a bit under the time pressure. That's quite normal. But we were fully aware of the situation. We were fully aware that we would have more clarity the more the hours will gone by, and probably we have to make some late decisions. That means perhaps not each and every player who we wanted perhaps to sign is then available anymore. But the situation is like it is. It's a bit tricky, but I'm quite confident that we'll have some good solutions. And yeah, you know this old quote: "Save the best for last." So sometimes it's even a good choice instead of having too early a decision and to panic anyhow. So we are quite relaxed. Not falling asleep anyhow, and also still aware of the situation, but we are also fully convinced that we're doing the right things behind the scene.
You've had plenty of experience in the past with Norwich of recovering after a relegation and integrating players in the championship campaign. Do you feel confident that if Willie and Luis don't leave, you can reintegrate them still into this squad and they can play a part this season?
Well, I don't want to speak too much about individual players. Like I mentioned, it's also you can't compare the situation with Willie, for example, also with the situation with Luis, because I think it's also professional just to make sure that there is clarity from the legal point of view how the contractual situation is. So it was definitely difficult with Luis, different with Luis in comparison to Willie Gnonto, and. Yeah, I've been there in the past, so it's for us also like to educate the players and also to show some strength. I think this is quite important, and also to show as a club that you're always in the driver's seat. I was in a quite similar situation also after relegation with Norwich, even this time. So especially young players are then perhaps also a bit there with uncertainty and the same situation. So in my time, for example, I had 2 players. I had to leave them out of the squad because I got the feeling, no, they are not focused and not fully committed to the group. And in the end, these 2 players were more like the heroes of promotion anyhow. So it's never a guarantee that it will happen again in the same way. But for me, it's quite important that you always show some steel and some strength anyhow, because the club is always bigger than any individual, and you also have to educate the players a little bit, and we have to make sure that we learn the lessons also from the past, that we will always be in the driver's seat from the contractual situation. And then it's also up to the players. It's always up to their behavior. So for us, it's always, we pay lots of backing and attention and help and support for the players. But once they are there with mistakes or misbehavior, I don't speak about any individual player right now, but just in general, it's then up to the players to show the right reaction and to do the right things in order to be back in the plans and to have the right also to play again for such an amazing club like Leeds United. And we see how the reaction is at the moment. I think it's more important to show some strength, and we are not reliable on one player. So at least my style will never be that I pray and back a player and you have to come back or something like this. No, for that we are Leeds United. We are too big that we are reliable from one player, and this is my style, and this is how I work and also will lead the club also in the future.
Thank you, Mike.
Daniel, has it been your job this week to lift the squad and lift the morale?
Well, you always have to do this as a head coach, but also to prepare from a tactical point of view for next challenge against West Brom, and also to be critical. So it's not like I was there just like a clown and do some jokes for the mood. We were also self-critical after the last game, because although the situation was a bit tricky, I think we could have been there even in a few scenes with a better performance at Birmingham, and the players know that they have my backing, also my trust, and I'm there in order to help them, and I also protect them, because I don't let anyone criticize the workload and the mentality of the players who were available, because these are great lads who give their everything to defend our shirt. But it doesn't mean that I'm not self-critical. I'm just running around because it's a difficult situation and protect them, and I'm just there for a good mood. I'm also there in order to improve each and every player, and for that you still have to stay self-critical and critical, and also to speak about a few things. So it's a pretty complex job, I would say, as a coach. Yes, sometimes you also have to be there with man management for the mood. That was also a topic, but in all the other topics I had to do a good job as well during this week, and yeah, I try my best to fulfill all these expectations.
Just for clarity, you mentioned with Sinisterra there is legal issues with him. Have you been told not to include him in the squad, or is that you, from a legal point of view, or is that your decision for him to be not with the squad?
Well, first of all, I'm responsible for each and every decision in sport. Otherwise, I wouldn't have signed the contract. I made it clear, so no one tells me who I should pick and who is not picked. It's just up to me as a manager to make the decisions on who is ready to play. Also, because I judge their performances in training, and like I mentioned before, for me, names, salary, transfer fees, whatever, are not important for me. It's just important with what I see, if a player is really focused, if he's ready to go, and something like this. So no one from the club has told me who I should pick or who I don't pick. So it's more like really totally up to me to have the decisions, and I want to be in the driver's seat in this term, so everyone can trust me. But once there is a legal issue anyhow, then it's also like, okay, it has to be sorted before, and that's also quite normal, so no one had to tell me about this.
Can I clarify whether Lewis has told you that he wants to leave?
No, I never speak about what we're speaking about under four eyes in my manager's office or in the dressing room. And again, so it's a different situation, and we will have hopefully some clarity also over the next days. And what I speak about with my players, it just stays under four eyes, because I want to have a trustful atmosphere with my players, and what they tell me, I don't speak about this in public.
Have you had a period like this as a coach before, where you've had so much on your plate at one time?
Well, it's a lot at the moment, I have to say. It's really a lot. It's not like each and every week you have the same, but like I mentioned there, I was more or less in a quite similar situation also with Norwich after relegation. I spoke also about two key players I've left out of the squad anyhow for also pretty important games, and then they showed a good reaction, were back in the mix and delivered with top performances with goals and assists. Obviously, due to the contractual situation with all this exit clauses, so this is really special, and I'm not sure if any other club in whole Western Europe had such a situation as well. But I mentioned, I think in my last press conference, we are a bit special and a bit unique anyhow. And sometimes Leeds United, we never go the easy way. We are a bit special, and you have to take this also a bit with a smile, but also to take it serious in a way that we say, okay, listen, from such a situation, we have to learn, and we have to make sure in the future we are always in the driver's seat. It's not a situation that you want as a club to rely on decisions anyhow of players if they want to leave, and they can just activate some exit clauses. It's anyhow crazy thing, but It was done in the past, and we have to accept this. But just as long as I'm in control here over the contracts, and I've also the last saying anyhow, one thing is for sure. So such a situation will never happen again.
We just do two quick questions under embargo to Leon until Friday morning if you can turn cameras on.